Alright guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at what happened in the Wales versus South Africa game that took place in Cardiff. And wow, what a game that was. Not a lot of tries, but a very, very tight, well-matched game from both sides. So it started quite interestingly. The ball was in play for about 5 minutes right from the off, with lots and lots of kicking from both sides before South Africa gave away a penalty. And about 5 minutes later on the 10-minute mark, Wales opened the scoring with a penalty by Dan Biggar. But then shortly after that, pretty much from the kickoff, South Africa got a penalty and scored that to make it 3-3. But then again, not long after that, about the 14th minute, Wales got another penalty and scored that to make it 6-3 to Wales. And on about the 15th minute, right from the kickoff of that, Wales drop the ball, like directly from the kickoff. That gives South Africa a bit of time in their 22. And from that, they managed to, I think they got an advantage from the scrum, but then they played a couple phases and they managed to get an advantage there too, and eventually got a penalty and went for posts and equalised to make it 6-6. But not long later, South Africa were back in Wales's 22 with multiple mauls from lineouts, and I believe Wales got a warning at that point about their penalties at lineout mauls, but they weren't able to capitalise on it, and Wales managed to win a penalty and clear their lines. And on the 27-minute, around that mark, Wales managed to get another penalty to boot themselves 9-6 up. And not long after, about 4 minutes later, on the 31st minute, South Africa saw a yellow card to their number 3 as he checked a Wales player's running line. The yellow card wasn't specifically for that. It was because of multiple offences in that area around that same time that led to South Africa getting a man sent off for 10 minutes. And Wales got a penalty at the 32nd minute from the yellow card and scored to boot it up to 12-6. But around the 34th minute, Dialende made an amazing break that led to Mapimpi very, very narrowly scoring. Dialende made a break, he got tackled, he got the ball out, and there was a nice sort of grubber kick through that Mapimpi managed to get on the end. But Mapimpi didn't manage to get on the end of it. Wales players managed to get on the end of it, and they were able to clear their lines. And then not long after that, on the 36th minute, Wales saw a yellow card. Coming back to what I said earlier about their maul infringements, they made another one, and the referee yellow carded them for too many infringements around the maul. And not long after that, around the 37th minute, South Africa were right on the Wales 5-metre line, but again weren't able to capitalise as Wales managed to get an intercept, started running up the pitch, but they weren't able to do anything from that. But they did get a penalty for a high tackle and were able to clear their lines. But shortly after this, just before half-time, around the 42nd minute, South Africa got another penalty and were able to put that over the post and to make the half-time score 12-9 to Wales. So at this point, both teams have been really good. They both had a yellow card. It was been a really nice, tight battle as we were expecting to go forward, but 12-9 at half-time was the score. So around the 46th minute in the second half, Wales had a scrum that South Africa, they were just walking through it, but Wales managed to get the ball out and clear it. But Fran Steyn got the ball off of the clearance and managed to make a huge run, bouncing off tackles before Paula put a beautiful little grubber through that took South Africa right up to the Wales 5-metre line before they got tackled. They had a couple minutes around here, but Wales had a massive defensive shift in this game overall, but especially at this point, and that they were able to get the ball back from a penalty and clear it. Around the 51st minute, a couple of phases after that, Wales managed to get a penalty that they were able to kick over the posts and stretch that lead back out to 6 points to make it 15-9. Around the 55th minute, South Africa managed to get a penalty themselves and put that up to make it 15-12. And then not long after that, they got another penalty around the 59th minute where they equalised and made it 15-15. And that's the first time in a while that South Africa hadn't been behind in the game. And something absolutely crazy happened not long after this. Wales had managed to manipulate the South Africa defence to get an overlap out on the left side. It went through the hands, and just as Liam Williams had caught the ball, a fan from the stands ran on the pitch, was tackled by one of the stewards and put him off, causing Liam Williams to have to check his line that could have potentially led to them not scoring the try. We don't know if he was there or not, if they would have scored, but it definitely played a part because Liam Williams had to check his line. Luckily, Wales were playing an advantage, I'm pretty sure, and they went right after that in the 65th minute and kicked for goal to boot them even further in the lead still. And then in the 68th minute, South Africa managed to score from a poor box kick by Reinach, which just fell into the hands of Etzebeth, who gave it on to Mapimpi, who ran into the line and scored. However, the try was disallowed because players competing for the ball hadn't retreated back at the kick, so it was judged to be a no try and those players were offside, so the try was chalked off. But then on the 73rd minute, South Africa did score a try off of the back of a rolling maul. I mean, who would have guessed that was what was going to happen? They got the line out and they scored the try. It was by Malcolm Marks, but they missed the conversion, this making it only 20-18 going to the last 7 minutes of the game. On the 78th minute, South Africa are back in the Wales 22. They have a maul from 5 meters out, but Wales put another massive defensive shift. They managed to stop the maul, causing South Africa to have to boot it through the hands a bit. And a couple of phases later, Wales managed to win a penalty and start putting the ball up the pitch to try and see if they can get up the other end and get a penalty, a drop goal, or a try, or anything like that. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. South Africa managed to get a penalty just outside of the Wales 22, right on the 80-minute mark, right as the game was ending. They went for post, they got the goal, which made the final score 18-23 to South Africa, and the man of the match was Frans Steyn. So I said that this game would be a fairly comfortable win for South Africa. It ended up not being. They did win. I said they win by 12. They won by 5. But was this a fair score? Perhaps. I think it was a very, very even game overall. Either side deserved to win this game, to be honest. And South Africa were just slightly more clinical than Wales, where they were able to get across the line a couple of times with only one of them counting. That's what happened in the game. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. Please do a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you are new around here. But as always, guys, have a great day. See ya.